¿Cuál es tu sueño que tenés en el fútbol? Si tuvieras que elegir, ¿cuál es tu sueño?
Jugar un mundial.
De Bruyne plays a lovely ball through. Alvarez is onto it. Here's his chance. Can he score it? Yes, he can. Wonderful finish. Alvarez was brilliant.
Ellen saw and conquered. Copa America wins, FIFA World Cup wins, English Premier League trophy, Champions League trophy, all last club World Cup trophy wins. Julian Alvarez has won all the mega trophies of the football world at the age of 23. Alvarez is like a hero from Greek mythology who triumphs on the field. Argentine little magician Julian Alvarez has won all the mega trophies in the world at the age of only 23. Julian Alvarez is like the face stone of show fortune. Julian Alvarez is a versatile forward who can play anywhere on the front line. He is direct, quick, and has graceful control with his right foot, often converting awkward chances. Alvarez is also a good link-up player, with the technique and vision to play quick passes and one-touch football. Playing against rough South American tacklers, his dribbling and ability to maneuver in tight spaces are sublime. Alvarez is also a very hard-working player, running around off the ball and capable of leading a strong press.
Bruyne, and it's 4-0. Turned in by Julian Alvarez. And, well...
Julian Alvarez. Alvarez was born on January 31st, 2000, in the small town of Quin in Argentina. From a very young age, Julian fell in love with football, and by the time he was 5 years old, he was already showing his talent with the ball. At his feet, in fact, he was so good with the ball that it seemed like he had more than two legs controlling it. Hence, his brothers Rafael and Austin Alvarez gave him the nickname the Little Spider. Alvarez began his football career in his native Argentina, where he is an academy graduate of River Plate, making his first team debut for the club in 2018. There he spent 4 seasons and won the Copa Argentina, 2018 Copa Libertadores, and the Argentine Primera Division in 2021, finishing as the competition's top scorer. He was named the South American Footballer of the Year in 2021. In January 2022, he signed for Manchester City and began playing for the club in the 2022-23 season, where he won a continental treble in his debut campaign. Alvarez family, it just wasn't possible for them to leave everything in Argentina and move to Spain. Hence, while Real were unable to sign Julian Alvarez, and is also the reason why he went back to playing in Argentina. Throughout Alvarez's teenage years, he was trying for many Argentinian clubs like the famous Boa Juniors and Argentinas Juniors, for example. However, when he turned 15 years old, he got an offer to join the River Plate Academy. And since that was his boyhood club that he loved, he accepted their offer. Then, by the time he was 18 years old, he impressed the River Plate coaches so much that they moved him up to the senior squad. The coach of River Plate at the time, Marcelo Gallardo, liked what he was seeing from Alvarez in training, so he decided to give him his debut in October 2018 in a game against Aldo CV, a couple months later in the Copa Libertadores final, essentially. The Champions League of South America, River Plate were battling with Boa Juniors for the trophy. The first time the two Buoys Irish clubs faced off against each other in the final, the game had to be played in the Santiago Bernabeu due to safety concerns arising from an attack on the Boa Jun team Buzz. That's when, in pretty much the biggest Libertadores final of all time, Hold Alvarez got his Libertadores debut, where River Plate later won 5-3 on aggregate, meaning that Alvarez got his hands on his first professional trophy, the Como Libertadores title, the Copa Libertadores. 2022 World Cup arrived due to Alvarez being a top Argentinian. It was only obvious that he was going to be selected for the 2022 World Cup. However, at first Gallardo, the manager of Argentina, was only planning on seeing him as a super sub, with him viewing Lautaro Martinez as the clear starter at the striker position for the tour tournament. 2 games into the tournament, though, Scaloni knew he had to change things around. In the first game against Saudi Arabia, Argentina were shockingly defeated 2-1 in the opening game, with Julian Alvarez on the bench and Lautaro starting. Then in the next game against Mexico, although Argentina bounced back and won 2-0, they struggled to create good goal-scoring opportunities, and it was only due to Lionel Messi being the GOAT that Argentina finally broke through. So with Scaloni realizing that something wasn't working, he decided that he needed to bench Lautaro Martinez and start Julian Alvarez, and this ended up being the right choice because despite Messi's missed penalty, Argentina dominated the game and won 2-0 against the Polish, and Julian Alvarez even scored the second goal of the match. Scoring his first ever World Cup goal, therefore, in the knockout rounds, Scaloni stuck with Julian Alvarez and selected him to start again. Julian made sure that the manager did not make a wrong choice because, due to his relentless pressing, Julian Alvarez got another goal at the tournament, helping defeat Australia 2-1 in the round of 16. It was beginning to show that Messi and Julian Alvarez were forming one hell of a partnership, with Alvarez doing a better job at making runs and freeing up space for Messi to do his thing. This amazing duo became even more evident in the semi-finals against Croatia, in which Argentina completely dominated them, defeating the Croatians 3-0. That dissipated the entire picture, though, because in the game, Julian Alvarez won a penalty while outrunning the Croatian defenders, in which Messi easily slotted in. Then, in an amazing solo run, Julian Alvarez scored the second of the match. And with Messi's magic, Alvarez scored a third to top it all off and sent Argentina back into the World Cup final. Then in the final, despite not being Alvarez's best performance, Argentina made history and defeated. With France on penalties to win the World Cup overall, Alvarez was a stand-up for Argentina at this competition as well, and also an unlikely hero for the country, stepping up when Argentina needed him the most, and scored 5 goals after the 2022 World Cup. There were many eyes on Julian Alvarez, with him making his name known to the world after these performances. Alvarez then continued his World Cup form for Man City with Pep Guardiola, trusting him more to take part in the games overall in all competitions. Alvarez played in 49 games, scoring 17 goals and 5 assists. Not bad. Considering that Alvarez was coming off the bench for the majority of the season, that's also not painting the entire picture as well, because Alvarez's goals played a huge part in Man City's overall success in the 22-23 campaign, first with Man City being so behind Arsenal in the Premier League to race. Man City needed an almost perfect record if they wanted any chance to catch up. Then for mid-March, Julian Alvarez took part in almost every game. And with Man City catching up to Arsenal, with them defeating them twice, Julian Alvarez's goal against Fulham, and also him scoring the only goal in a 1-0 win over Chelsea, the Premier League title, was then officially retained by having an extraordinary comeback in the tower race. That's not it, though, because Alvarez's 2 goals and 1 assist in the quarterfinals against Burnley helped City make it all the way to the final against Manchester United. The rivals were gunning for the ones 2 goals would help C do the domestic double. The job was not finished, though you're up to 0 jobs not finished, job finish. I don't think so, because Man City were in the Champions League final against Inter Milan after defeating Real Madrid in the semi-4-0, with one of those goals coming from Alvarez as well. In spite of this, Alvarez did not play in the final, but City got the breakthrough late in the game and defeated Inter 1-0, which helped them win their first ever Champions League trophy. A didn't play in the game, like I said, but his 3 goals and 2 assists in the Champions League campaign proved to be pivotal in the run to win the trophy. Which also means that Julian Alvarez became only the 10th player in history to win a Champions League trophy and a World Cup trophy in the same season anyhow, with Man City winning the Premier League, FA Cup, and Champions League. City became only the 2nd English club to win the treble after Manchester United, of course, meaning Julian Alvarez won the best trophies he could have in his first season with City. Regardless, though, by the age of 23 years old, Julian Alvarez has already won the biggest trophies of football. He's won the Copa Libertadores, the Premier League, the Champions League, and even the World Cup. He's won it all. He also extended his contract with Man City this year as well, so maybe he really does want to care about the Cup trophy. Overall, though, Alvarez is still a very young top player, and his growth is going to be very fun to watch in these next few years anyways, if you enjoyed.
World Cup winner, Premier League winner, and on Manchester City's day of celebration, it's Alvarez who breaks the deadlock.